2025 PSE Dominator Duo X. Let's see if I can figure out what's different. Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. MFJJ here at podiumarcher.com, looking at a 2025 PSE Dominator Duo X 38 with SE2 cams. This is a 2025 model, although it has the same cams and shim system that they made last year, so it's not a new cam or any improvement of that. It does have the pin pull-out system, which is awesome. This works really easy. It's really simple to be able to tune your left-to-right position of your cam. You can also twist the yokes, but I personally recommend against that because these are stretch and changes your left to right a little bit, but you can if you need to. Outside of that, we've got a grip exchange system in here. You can actually flip the guard from left to right and flip the cams from left to right. So this is a left-handed and right-handed bow from what I understand. Very unique in that platform. We've got some specs here, 338 feet a second. Wow, that's fast. I don't know. We'll see. That seems like a little optimistic. 4.9 pounds, which seems probably realistic, which, hey, you don't want a target bow to be light. You want it to be heavy, so that's a good thing. 38 axle to axle and 7 1/8 inch brace height. So let's play with some of these things and see what we get after I get the draw length set. So now that we got our draw length set, we haven't checked our weight yet, but we will. But we can probably start measuring some stuff here. So this says it's a 38 inch axle to axle. We're going to measure to the far side of the screw to your side, and this is not long enough. See, folks, most of the bows we always test are less than 36 inches. And that's the yardstick. I need to go grab measuring tape. All right, axle to axle is 38 inches. And it looks like it's 38, holding on the far side of the screw to the 38 and an 1/8, just a little bit long. Down 38 and 1/8. Our brace is supposed to be 7 3/8. We should be able to use our yardstick for the rest of this. 7 1/8. Center of the string, I'll give you a 7 and a little long, maybe a 1/16 long. That's not a bad thing. I mean, that just means it's more forgiving. So that's not horrible. Let's see how long our riser length is. This way for you. I'm going to go to your side of the screw to your side of the screw. 29 1/4 riser length on a 38 inch bow. So this was 7 3/16. All right, let's see what our physical hanging weight ends up being here. We put a rest on here. I guess I could have measured that before we did that, but it's usually only about 1/10 of a pound, somewhere in there. Measuring out at 4.7 to 4.8, so it's a little lighter than they said, which that felt pretty heavy. That's surprising. So we're going to give it a 4.8. And let's see what our draw length ends up measuring out at. Okay, honestly, it looks like they nailed 30 right on the button, to be honest. It looks like it's dead center in the middle of those bolts. Positioned. Look at where that grip is. Yeah, I'd say that's right on 30 inches. So good on the draw length, actual draw. Nice. So since we got this in here, we'll just go ahead and hold it off of here. Looks like about 5/8 of reflex, which is what you like to see in a target bow. You want to see a relatively straight riser, very forgiving. We'll be very, very impressed if it pulls that speed with these specs. All right, let's set a weight and shoot some arrows out of it. All right, so what kind of draw weight we're pulling here. Looking for, this is a 60-pound bow, so they didn't send me a 70. Oh, it's mighty nice of them. I'm a little sore, so 61.4, so we're going to have to back it down just a little bit. $60.0. We'll go with that. All right. I got to dig up my 300 grain arrows. I forgot about that. Okay. I think we are officially on FPS. 60 pounds, 30 inches, 300 grain arrow. Let's see. 317. Now that looks a little more realistic to what I expected. I always get baffled as why, especially on a target bow, like how fast this bow is does not matter. Like no one's going, oh man, that's a speed demon. It's a target bow. It's rare that speed ever really helps you in target archery. I don't understand why you would inflate it so much. 319. All right, one more. 319. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt and call it 319. You're only, what is that? 338, 28, 18. You're only 19 feet a second slow. That is worse than last year, I think, when I tested their target bows. All right, well, we'll shoot a little heavier one to give you an idea. So we'll shoot like a 450 since we only have 60 pounds and whatnot. All right, got 3 450 grain arrows here. We'll see what the speed looks like. I will say this bow feels really good, not gonna lie. It's very solid, it's very rigid. You don't feel any flex in it. It's pretty much dead on the shot once it goes off. And the draw cycle's clean. Like there's not humps in it or anything like that. It just pulls through, but this cam's been around for a little while, so they should have it ironed out, I would think. 263. And you do get some forward hop in the bow, which is what most target people want. They want the bow to pop out of their hand a little bit so they can get a little response and feel a little response on what the bow's doing. 263. But not so much it'll go flying down the range. 262. I probably need to work on parameters for testing target bows. Comment down below on what I should be measuring, looking at, trying to show response to. I've gotten some good ideas from people on what to go for in the future on these things. But please throw some input at me on the target audience that watches this, because I know there are some of you. And speaking of target, support your local shop. It's hard to carry target archery stuff. It really is. It's not cheap. The stuff's very expensive. Usually the margin isn't really great. It's hard to make money on it as a pro shop's concerned. There's typically more money in the hunting side of things. So if your shop's trying or making an effort to order things for you and you like dealing with your shop, please buy it from them if you would. If you're going to buy something online, give me a shot. I really appreciate it. Use coupon code MFJJ to save you a little money. And we will be having these in stock and available on the website. If you can't wait for one, you just got to get it right away. Because this bow does feel pretty darn good, and having the ability to quick shim change that tune from the previous one, that's really nice for tweaking it. All right, last arrow. Let's see what we get here. Woo! Broke it. 262s and a broken arrow. Well, she points. All right, let's see here. 262. 262. All right. All right. Draw cycle. I am going to revise this. I've already decided, I haven't done it yet, that I'm going to go to 10s instead of 5s, so it's a little easier to get some distinction between the two, because this draw cycle does feel really good, but I have felt draw cycles that I thought were even a little bit better, so it's hard to give it a 5 when I've felt stuff that's a little better, but I'd definitely give it a 4. And this would probably be an instance where I'd give a bow a 9 if it was out of 10. I do like the interchangeability of the grip, and it does feel very good. I prefer a straight machined edge clean on a target bow without the interchangeability, but that grip is really, really nice. Definitely positive things. You can adjust the let off on these bows, so the back wall is manipulatable a little bit, and they are adjustable and let off. I'll still give it a good mark on a back wall 4. The balance feels incredibly good. When the bow goes off, it actually rolls out from underneath you just a little bit, which is really what you're looking for in a target bow. So when you put that stabilizer and stuff on there, it goes over clean. Features. Well, you got some side thread holes in here. So I'm assuming those are for adding additional weight in specific spots. This is a tuning feature. Let off adjustability, I would call a feature. But outside of that, there's not a ton of features. You can mount your sight in multiple different spots, and unique to this bow, you can turn it into a left-handed bow. Now, I'm not sure where that's going to benefit any individual consumer, but it sure makes life a little easier for a bow shop that can actually functionally turn this right-handed bow into a left-handed bow without really any major work. So I'll give you a 3 on features. There's not integration in stabilizers. There's not integration in quivers, although it's not a quiver bow. It doesn't look like there's a specific V-bar bracket that specifically hooks into there. It just looks like it's threaded. So I would say 3 for features. Tunability, this shim system made life a lot easier, and you also can adjust the yoke if you want. I suggest against that because these are very small pieces of fiber and it's more likely to stretch, and you'll get wheel lean in here, changing it here instead of there. But you can't adjust the cable guard either. So tunability, I'll also give you a 3. This is probably an instance where I would give you a 7 because this is very easy to use. Now, I'd like to see more variance of sizes here so you can manipulate it a little bit better. But that being said, it is a nice feature. So we have vibration, which it's a target bow. It's not supposed to be vibration free, but it feels pretty good, but there is some vibration. I'll give it a 3. Price $17.99 for a shoot-through riser bow. Here's where it gets tricky. There's only so many shoot-through riser bows in the market, and they're all pretty pricey. Target bows traditionally are also in that high price point, that $1,800 to $2,000. So I'm trying to think of comparables that give you shoot-throughs. And the only one that really comes to mind is Hoyt, and they're quite pricey, although they haven't released their stuff for this year, but last year was higher than that. So I'm going to give you a 4 for price because $1,800 for a target bow does seem like a lot. Although at the same time, it's what you're getting, right? You're getting a precision piece of equipment. And in the target market, this is actually a pretty fair price. If you're not familiar with that market, that price seems really ridiculous to you, and I understand that. The bow they came out with last year, I want to say it was $12.99 or $13.99, but it wasn't a shoot-through riser. Now, whether you're aware of this or not, this is a much more expensive product to make. You might say, well, it's still a target bow and it still just shoots arrows and blah, blah, blah. Whatever you want to say. This is way more expensive to cut. So this product costs more to make. And your Matthews is $2,100. I want to say your Hoyts are close to 2-ish. Once again, they haven't released them for this year, so I don't know what the changes are. So I'm going to give you a 4 because honestly, for what you're getting here, that's really not bad. Now, your speed at 319 for a target bow is not a bad speed. But because you had to be silly and call it 338 feet a second, you get a 1. Sorry, don't do that. That's stupid. Like, you don't need to exaggerate this. It's a target bow. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter. Your weight came in a little under. Since the number's not exact, I'm going to mark it down 1, but that's about what you'd expect a target bow to weigh. So it's not really unrealistic. You're a little long on your ATA. Give you that. And you're a little long on your brace. Your actual draw length was on the money. There you go. And 5/8 inch reflex. I've seen target bows that are 0, and I've seen target bows that are deflexed. So I'll give you a 4. But that's a great number. Not a lot of reflex means a very accurate, very forgiving bow in general, which you will experience that when you try it. So, all right, let's see what we get for numbers here. Pull this over. Now, I thought I mentioned this, but it does go from 26.5 to 32 in the SE2 cam, and there are 2 other cam configurations. There is a short draw cam and a long draw cam, and let me get the technical name of them. Sorry, I just don't want to give you bad information. There's an M2 and an EM2, which I want to say are the same cams as last year. And according to the speed tests, the M2 pulls off 349 foot a second, which seems a bit crazy. And that cam goes from 26 to 30. So limited range, not as much range, but it's going to be a little more aggressive. And the brace height's a little low. Hey, hang on a second. Brace height on this, yeah, okay, I had that right. Yeah, the M2 cam is supposed to be 350 feet a second. And come on, guys, like, give me a break. You're not going to get that at 6 3/4 of a brace. I don't know why they're saying that, but it just seems kind of silly. The peak weights are 50 to 60 as well, so you cannot get a 70-pound bow if you want. You can only get a 50 or a 60. All right, now, so we got that out. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 19, 23 on the high score. 4, 16, 20, 28 MFO. So in the things that I think are really relevant, it scores pretty good. In your tangible measurements, it doesn't score very good. And a lot of that is your speed. Sorry. Don't fudge it. all in all, it's a very nice feeling bow. I think it'll compare very well to a Title or whatever Hoyt comes out this year, because they haven't changed their target bow line in a couple of years. So I'll be really surprised if we don't have new risers in their realm of things. And Elite's got that new mid target, that like 35-inch axle-to-axle target bow, which is a very nice bow as well. We should see some more stuff coming out in the market this year that's good comparables. So at least it'll be a start. And when I revise the new system, I will go through and revise the numbers that I have here, so it'll be measurable for 2025, because this is a 2025 bow. I'd like to appreciate all the support and you guys watching this channel, and hopefully you learned something, and hopefully it helps you make your decisions in your buying purchases, because all I'm trying to do is measure what we're being told and try to give you some feedback from what it looks like it's doing as opposed to what we're told, so you don't have to try to source 7 different bows to get some kind of measurable, tangible. Hopefully it helps. Hope you like it. Appreciate the support. Thanks for watching.